I did.
Okay.
Hi, guys. It is Thursday. It is, in fact, the last Thursday for Star Trek Picard, and I'm more than a little sniffly about this, actually, because this episode, The Last Generation, y'all, it was almost everything I wanted, and so much nostalgia, so much great stuff, so much Picard love, really, if I'm going to say anything. Yeah. But before we get into it, obviously, we need beautiful bean footage. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We got there. We got there in the end. It's fine.
A little reverb plus.
That was beautiful. That was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. That was fantastic.
Yeah, totally,
So first off,
totally meta.
And before we get into anything, I want to apologize to everybody if I seem low energy. I got my Omicron booster last night. It was Moderna, and I've been a Pfizer girl almost exclusively. It's kicking my butt. So if you are here from Game Industry News, that's why there was no article.
Right,
today.
right.
Because I feel like death warmed over.
Okay.
But fortunately, my good health is literally the only thing that has died, which is the great part about this particular episode, right? Also, everybody get vaccinated. Go. Do it if you can. Now. We'll wait. All right. That was enough waiting. That was enough waiting. All right. Who wants to fall on Summary Sword today?
I don't know if I have the discipline this time, because I'm just going to ramble on through so much excitement about how this is perfect and how it makes Generations perfect.
We'll get to that.
First, Jermaine,
tell people what happened.
Well, okay. Yeah, you want? Yeah, I can give you the rundown. Like,
actually,
real quick.
Why don't we all do it? Because I feel like this is.
Yeah. How about we all take turns? Yeah, all four parts. How about that?
This is such a team effort.
Yeah, Marie, you go first. Because I want the ending. I want the ending with Deanna's scene. That's my favorite part.
Oh yeah. That was. Oof.
That was her moment. She finally got her moment. Like,
so,
I know where they are.
Hush. So we get the Enterprise D. Everybody's excited. We've all had that moment at the end of last episode where we had that. Yeah. My childhood was so happy.
Oh yeah.
They're on the bridge. They're headed toward what they discover is a signal in Jupiter, and they're all like, "What is this?" Clearly, it's going to be a giant Borg cube, because what else is new? What else could it possibly be? But Data gets this amazing line where he's like, well, everybody's like, well, they're waiting on the cavalry. And Data's like, we are the cavalry with our AARP cards. This is a whole thing.
It's like he's always been a smartass, but now he's like intentionally being a smartass.
Right.
Well, Brent Spiner has always been a smartass, but
yes.
now he's allowed to be on screen. Yeah.
Yes. I think that was a requirement for him to come back. Let's be real. So anyway, they fly up to this and they realize that there's like this giant sort of beacon in the center that's actually broadcasting all of the Hive Collective's signal, and that's what's actually going out to control the new drones. So they're like, we got to figure out where that is. But of course, it's a Borg cube, so there's all this magical interference for story purposes. So we're going to have to beam onto the cube for story purposes and find this. And we've also got to find Jack because, Beverly's hanging out there going, but my kid, can we get my kid? So Picard, Worf, and Riker beam down. And what they discover is a tomb full of dead Borg, basically, where all of the actual organic material is being recycled. And they're like, why? This is weird. So Picard and Riker and everybody else move forward for a little bit, and then they decide to split up because Picard and Riker have to find the beacon, Worf and Riker have to find the beacon. Picard's got to find Jack. So Worf and Riker go off and do that, and Picard goes down and discovers Jack, who is now Borgified and is acting as Vox, actually giving all of the commands. And it mostly consists of fire. Oh, shut up. But behind him is a really, really special guest star, and that is Alice Krieg as the creepiest Borg Queen we have ever seen.
I mean, I had the epitome of a WTF moment. I was like,
that makeup was gorgeous.
I said, "Come." So was that really her, or was that So that was actually her.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention one other really fantastic sort of cameo moment. We don't actually see him, but we do hear Walter Koenig as Anton Chekhov, the president of the Federation, which is so both obviously a reference to Koenig's role as Pavel Chekhov and also a nod to Anton Yelchin, which I thought was
beautiful.
That kind of hit me in the feels. So meanwhile, back on the Titan, we've got our unassimilated friends storming the bridge. Seven and everybody else emerge, guns blazing. But it turns out that what they've actually done is they've slaved the transporter signal to their phasers. So as they shoot people, they beam to the transporter room, which they have now locked, keeping most of the bridge crew confined. The assimilated bridge crew confined. Seven is like, all right, guys, let's lock that door and let's mess some stuff up.
Right.
So she basically orders everybody, and everybody's like, but we're not bridge crew people.
Oh yeah.
one guy's literally a deli counter dude. You're right. He's like, my mom got sick, and and then my brother had a hernia, and she's like, nah.
You're a pilot now. Yeah.
Right. You are our pilot. And then she's like, all right, we're going to take on the fleet. And everybody's just like, hey.
I mean, this is giving Michael Burnham energy.
I know, right? Mad Michael Burnham energy. So then we flash back to the cube, because basically this episode is divided between the Titan and the cube.
Yeah, because now we have a kind of in an episodic sense of A plot and a B plot.
I know.
Even though they're related, which was kind of nice to have that again.
It was so TNG. Yeah. It was so TNG. Does anybody want to take this from me? Since apparently I'm, muddling my way through.
I'll go from here.
Boom.
Okay, so you've got Riker and Worf trying to find out where the beacon actually is.
Right.
By going through the system, and as they're doing it, some of the presumed dead Borg wake up. Oh, and William has a guest.
This is my friend and buddy Maxwell.
Hi, Maxwell.
Welcome
to Trekker's Delight.
What's up?
They said welcome. They said hi, Maxwell.
Thank you. Nice to meet y'all.
He said nice to meet you.
Yeah. We're absolute delights.
She said we're absolute delights.
Oh, me?
Well, you too.
You are now.
I mean, they said you are now.
Oh, bet. I'm, first day on the job, I'm doing nice.
Yeah, first day on the job, he's doing nice. He's part of the Will West crew, and I consider him like a younger brother, and and stuff like that. And we kind of almost have the same hair. But anyway,
I was about to say.
Right.
I just want to know why he's wearing that coat.
Because he loves this coat. He loves it. Matter of fact, you sit here. I already know what happens. You sit here and talk to him because you need to hear them.
Or you could put yourself on speaker. Just saying.
How you guys doing?
All right.
Hey.
Hey, we
Doing all right.
situated here.
Awesome.
Can I hear myself? Cool. Hey,
Awesome.
how you guys doing?
All right.
It's that kind of day. All right. All right.
Yeah.
We're good.
So again,
Okay.
welcome our new friend, and Keith, take it away again.
Okay. So they're able to track. They're connecting into the system and trying to track down the signal, and the Borg wake up and go to attack them. Meanwhile, on the Enterprise, they suddenly become under attack from the Borg cube. So Beverly, taking over tactical station, starts to fire onto the Borg cube, and it does it in tremendous explodey fashion, such that everybody turns and looks at Beverly, because of all the people to launch a bunch of torpedoes, they did not expect her to be able to do that.
A lot has happened in 20 years.
Yes.
Can't hear shit, but I'm going.
Meanwhile, back at the Titan, they figured out how to get out of the fleet control and realized that a lot of the system works on direct line of sight. So what can you do to stop your direct line of sight? They cloak with the Klingon cloaking device still plugged in on board. So then they cloak, go behind the other ships, decloak, fire a few times, cloak again, and they're starting to peel off some of the ships of attacking Space Dock, which is taking an absolute beating, but the shields somehow are holding. So Picard tries to free Jack from the Borg Queen, and of course, he's trying to argue with someone you cannot argue with. She's arguing that although the collective is gone, she will now have a new
really
biological collective.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Because of this new way of assimilating other races, and that this is the way the Borg will go on to the future. So finally, Picard tries to start unplugging Jack, and she lets him know that if he does this, you're going to put him in shock, and he's going to die, and you're going to lose him. So Picard does what Picard was going to do, and plugs himself into the Borg cube so that he could talk to Jack, conscious to conscious, contra to contra, whichever you seem to put.
I mean, he's all right. So Borg's not Vulcan, but we're So we get this amazing sort of like father-son sequence.
Yeah, in which Picard tries to make his case to Jack to not give in, and Jack is seeing what he's always wanted: connection, family, grouping, and being able to not only make things better, but tell people how to be better, because, Borg. But Picard does the one thing he had yet to do in, 10 episodes, and he hugs his son. Finally. Beautiful moment. And the tears flow down from Jack's face.
Ed Speleers cries very prettily, I must say.
Yeah.
All right, so who's next now?
Jermaine?
Williams got it.
Oh, okay. So we're at the part where Picard hugs his son, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so in this moment, everything goes whoosh, 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 and he comes back out, and this sounds so fucking childish, but
Smidge.
Jack comes in, I know, right? Yeah. So Jack comes back out, and he's like, and I'm going like, you were breathing the whole time. Why are you like you ain't in the water? Okay, anyway. So
was he breathing though?
I don't know. You know what? That's a good question. We'll have to explore that.
Just snap back to reality.
He snapped back to reality. Most definitely.
As we know from first contract, Borg don't breathe.
So basically, in this desperate moment, the Queen is like, even if you do get out of here alive, you'll never be normal again. You'll never change. You'll never do nothing. You'll always be alone. You'll die alone. And Jack looked at her and said, bitch, I'm not alone. I got him. And I got like the whole TNG crew and Legacy and the surprise guest that we're going to talk about in the end that I'm going to leave to Jermaine. But yeah, so that happened. And my favorite part of all favorite parts, when Riker said, well, they pretty much established that Jack is now out of the collective, and the Enterprise destroys via Death Star style, mind you, which I've been meaning to talk about that. When I was 12, I wrote a small Star Trek story and I put that in there. So I feel like they took that idea from me except my version had the Enterprise E. But we ain't gonna talk about that. Okay, I'm just saying. So anyway, via Death Star style, the ship flies into the center of the core or whatever and blows it to high heaven. Well, the whole thing is going kablooey. I mean, that was the longest minute of the show, but anyway. So as it's blowing up, he says you have 1 minute to get out. It's been literally 4. Like I counted. I had to watch. I was like I'm serious, because it's just like I counted on that 17 seconds episode. Like Riker had 17 seconds, Picard had 24. These people had 4 minutes, and I'm like, y'all better be overlapping scenes or something, because this is not no 1 minute. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So
it's on opera time, buddy. It's on
I know. It's just like this filmmaker stuff. It always gets to me. Well, so the whole ship is blowing up, and I guess it would take a while since this cube is like 5 times bigger than a normal cube. So I guess it takes time to blow up. Well, as that's happening, Riker in his own head, and you kind of know that Riker and Deanna are in a way linked, because they're together. So I don't know if he was trying to talk to her, but a part of it reached her when he said, "I love you, Mzadi. I'll be waiting for you with our son." And it reached her, and that takes back, I'm sorry to bring this name up, Marie, but it reached back to a moment in Nemesis where she found Shinzon's ship via her Betazoid powers, which this time she said, "I know where they are." And I was just like, yes. And she purposely, on her own, got up out of that chair, took the helm of the Enterprise, and did not crash it. So I am so happy. I screamed. I could not contain myself. I stopped. I said, I got to see that again. I got to see that. That's literally my favorite part. My favorite you can't, that to me, Marina was right. This is the farewell they deserved. I really do feel that. And of course, you'll never change. And then the Borg Queen is like, no, which ended the same way in my story too, except mine included xenomorphs. So, and it's like this whole shebang. Like, it really was like I had the Enterprise go down. And anyway.
Dude, come back to us.
So that happened. And so they managed to escape. You see this beautiful view of the bottom section of the Enterprise while Picard and Jack are just smiling with their goofy smile and whatever. And they get beamed up and just, no, the whole thing blows up. And just as Raffi and Seven were about to get blasted away, everyone returns back to normal. And we see that La Forge's daughter had a moment. And even though this is like a brand new generation that wasn't even born yet when Wolf 359 happened, it's like, now y'all get it. Like, yes, we've had XBs before. Yes, we've had 7 of 9s, the Hughes, and in what could be interpreted as the Geordis, but this is like a brand new scale. Like, we're talking about thousands of people that now have a collective understanding of what it's like. So maybe moving forward, you will take Picard seriously when he's trying to tell you something. So, and now we know in Discovery, and I'm gonna give this to Jermaine now. Now we know in Discovery which Borg the president was referring to. So, and that's Girardi's Borg, because this Borg is gone. You can't come back from this one, because Janeway done messed you up already, and Picard finished you off. So,
take it home, yeah. Again.
Take it home, Jermaine.
Yeah. So basically, this is towards the end of the episode, and at the end of the episode, everyone is, it's like they're relaxed. Everything is returned to normal. We see on, I guess, a view screen that everyone in the Federation is able to see. Walter Coney. Everyone is able to see that it looks as if 7 of 9, Raffi, and the 2 La Forge sisters saved the day. We later find out that it was actually Worf who streamed that so that everyone could see it, which allowed for Raffi's family to be reunited. I guess they clearly have learned that her suspicions ring some truth, and so whatever. They were reunited. And later in the episode, we get to see an old friend from season 2 and from all other seasons of TNG and some of Deep Space Nine return into. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one part that I skipped. So Jack Crusher is an ensign in Starfleet, and he's about to get his first commission. They believe, or at least Picard believes, that it's the Titan. They're in not a shuttlecraft, but a runabout. They fly up. And it was kind of like an ode to the original movie, where they're coming up and they see the ship, and he's like, "Oh, you've been assigned to the Titan." Nah, Dad. They've renamed the Titan the Enterprise, which was touching. That was a touching moment. He gets onto the ship. He acts as if he's commanding the ship. Seven says, "Get out of my chair." We learned that there's something else that I forgot. There's something else that I forgot. So Seven was about to resign her commission, and Tuvok tells her, or shows her, look, yeah, okay, you've resigned, but let me show you something. Let me show you what Shaw left. It was the last message that he sent, and it was basically him saying, yeah, she messes up. She messes up a lot, but maybe she should, and that is why she deserves to be captain of her own ship. Now, obviously, Shaw has died, and so they make her captain of what is now the Enterprise. And so that goes back to the scene with Jack Crusher. We find out that Raffi is her number one, and Jack is also the special counselor to the captain. In his crew quarters, he's unpacking. Someone shows up. He turns around with the phaser in his hand. It is Q. Jack is basically like, "Hold up, wait a minute. I thought all of humanity is no longer on trial." And he was like, "You're talking about Picard. Picard was on trial. But now it's you, my friend. You are now on trial." And so that's it. I think that's it. Hopefully I didn't skip anything.
You missed a couple. So you have
I mean, got the bulk of it, but we missed. What are the fillers, Keith?
Well, after Data had another counseling session, which Troi was looking through vacation destinations while he was stopping.
Riker
they all gather
shit.
at 10 forward to drink the place dry.
Oh yeah,
and they're all ready to leave until the Ace of Spades comes out and they hit the table to play one last game of poker together. Just as we finished All Good Things 30 years ago, the camera pans up to watch the game from above.
And Picard is very definitely part of it this time.
Yes.
We got to see what we didn't see in that last episode, them actually playing. For a moment, a couple moments, I thought they were actually playing, for real, actually playing.
It looked like it, yeah.
I mean Geordi was dealing.
Yeah, the end credits, instead of having the beautiful scenes of the Titan we've seen all season, was just over top of the poker game. Yeah. So, yeah, it looked like they kept playing.
And it looked like a real game.
Yeah.
Which I got to tell you, I'm kind of glad I was leaving because I finished it right before this. And I'm glad I let it run in the background because, y'all, I would not have caught the Q post-credit scene otherwise.
Yeah, this is definitely a conversation we need to have. So, okay, you're a god, and we get that gods are not linear, but you was dead. So is this another you that's skipping through time and you're doing this before your demise, or did you just not die altogether?
It's before.
You're thinking too linearly.
Yes.
You're thinking too linearly.
Great way to bring Q back. Great way to bring Q back.
Yes.
So basically he was jumping around back and forth before the events of season 2.
Right.
Basically probably wrapping everything up. That's why he still looks like an old man. So,
yeah.
There's that.
Also, he looked pretty dashing in the cape. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
Yeah,
good
it
to
was
see him in
nice.
red and black again. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, that was nice. That was really, really great.
I have a question. That star that he had on, was that like a reference to something in TNG? Because the last time I remember seeing that star that he had, it was like an admiral's star in TOS when they didn't really know what to do with what kind of insignia they wanted to put on their shirts.
Actually, I think that was meant to be some sort of like old naval award.
Okay, cool. Because Gene Roddenberry was in the Navy, right?
Or I think he was in the Air Force actually, but no, but that I think goes back to the introduction of Q, because remember he shows up and he like after we get the whole judge deal, we jump forward to the next Q episode, and that's when we get the Mon Capitaine and like the French officer outfit or whatever.
Right.
So I think he's just kind of making that illusion.
I got you.
Because it was very definitely like that was very definitely an old school inspired, because it was more modernized than anything else, but it was definitely an old, like based on old officers capes.
Right. So how do we all feel about him? I mean, I'm excited, but how do we all feel about him coming back? Were you expect? I expected like a cameo appearance from like Janeway or something, like that.
Yeah. Everybody was expecting Janeway. Some people were expecting Janeway to be the Borg Queen, despite us noticing
where did that come
Alex
from?
Krieg's fate.
Old Janeway.
Oh, like they would have kept her and
yeah.
Oh, that would have been really creepy.
I don't know. I was super excited to see Alice Krieg. I was very sad that we didn't see as much of her.
Right.
Like, I don't think. I wish we'd had more time with that version of the Borg Queen.
Maybe a dedicated episode to what happened over the 30 years since the events of Endgame.
I mean, even here, like there was something about her inability to move that really reduced the level of menace.
She was giving Xenomorph Queen. Like she was just up there, ribs and all. Like,
yeah, I know, that was creepy.
It was scary. I'm like, it felt like something. It felt like it was something I was reading out of the Hive graphic novel. Like I was like, this is actually creepy. But then I remembered, wait, that's what the Borg is kind of supposed to be. Like,
if this doesn't get nominated for an Emmy in costume design and makeup design, I don't know what people are doing.
Did
I just don't.
win an Emmy for the design of the Klingon Empire? I believe. At least I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so what's good? What's next? Because like this is it.
All right, so we covered that. I'm still a little miffed, by the way, about one line of sight propagation. Really?
Line of sight propagation.
Really? That's what we're going with for fleet formation Federation?
Yeah.
Really? I am disappointed. Like that is old school tech right there. And the other thing that really bugged me is, where's Laris?
Yeah, I was hoping to see her.
I was hoping to see her at least one more time.
Especially since it flashed forward a year at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it would have made perfect sense for Laris to be with
on the
him
shuttle.
And Beverly on the shuttle.
At the very least. Because even then, because now I was very happy in the sense that Jack changed his last name. They didn't quite say it, but you kind of like knew when they said the family name, took it like a little further. And the reason why I'm happy about that, because it takes me back to Generations when Picard was really sad about his nephew and brother dying in that fire, and that the Picard name, he will be the last Picard. Well, I guess not
actually
anymore.
I read that as Crusher, because the opening line before that is discussing how Beverly Crusher became Admiral and head of Starfleet Medical. She comes from not being part of Starfleet at all for 20 years. And now she's head of Starfleet Medical?
Well, surely, she was head of Starfleet Medical even in Nemesis.
I know, but
as
surely,
a commander,
yeah, but surely there was somebody who was an active officer who was waiting for that title.
Right.
And but season 2 of TNG.
I know. I just think it's weird that she shows up out of nowhere, having been gone for 20 years, and Starfleet's like, you.
Yeah, but she fixed the transporters. Well, not only being able to see Borg people, but also locate the changelings.
I have a question. So they mentioned it well, I don't know if it's a question, more of a statement. They
Right.
mentioned it. We didn't see the destruction of, but they definitely tried to blow up San Francisco, right?
Yes.
And so if that is the case, then that means that there are a lot of Starfleet personnel who needs to be replaced.
I suspect that's true, and I suspect there's just like a massive amount of damage. I mean, we saw some of the wreckage floating around Earth. I mean, and could you imagine like the sheer loss of life from space dock?
Because we're talking about everyone above the age of 25 on all of those starships. 90% of them are probably dead,
and also on the ground, because there's a lot of like that comm chatter from Walter Koenig / Anton Chekhov, excuse me, is planet side.
So I wonder how bad the damage was, like, because they got further this time than they did at Wolf 359,
or the Battle of Sector 001.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, that is kind of plausible, but it still seems very strange to me. Although I'm really glad that Beverly gets to do something.
I think that's because, I think each actor was asked, what do you want for your character? And I think that's what Gates McFadden wanted in the end. It's like, give me the title, and this time keep me there. Like not just me being like, and then she was did you see how she shoot? Like, it took me back to Bad Boys. Now that's how you're supposed to shoot. From now on, that's how you shoot. Like, if you've seen the movie. But like that, I was like, I am just waiting for some Star Wars fan to take that one clip and put it in a Death Star situation, because that was so freaking awesome. I rewind that shit too. I said, I'm a kid. I'm sorry. I was so happy.
Speaking of Gates McFadden, though, I do want to call out just an amazing moment in her performance, which is the moment when Geordi asks her to destroy the beacon. And
Kobayashi Maru,
with literally everyone.
Don't mention it.
Like, everybody knows what that's going to mean, right? And that means she's going to have to kill Jean-Luc. She's going to have to kill Will Riker. She's going to have to kill Worf, and most importantly, she's being asked to kill her son.
Exactly. Jermaine, you said something, but you were muted. Okay, now say
it. No, I was just saying her son. I thought you all could hear me.
No,
but she got to it. I think come back to me.
Well, real quick, shout out to the 5 or 6 people that are watching right now. Hello, how y'all doing? What's good? Anyway, please continue.
So like, I mean, just looking at her face, like, there was such an amazingly nuanced performance there. And we've talked before about how it's great to be able to see LeVar Burton take advantage of his being able to make more expression, his eyes, not just the same physicality that we saw in Geordi. Gates McFadden, I think, was first and foremost a dancer, and like, she's very aware of where she is physically and what she's doing, and there was just so much in her bearing in that moment where she has to pause and wrestle with the decision. We all know what decision she's going to make, because there's not a choice, and even Jack would agree that there would not have been a choice. But just that moment, I mean, it hits differently. Stuff like that hits me differently now than it did.
I have a question. If that was, like, speaking from a mother's perspective, if you were asked to make that choice in that situation, could you have arrived at the same decision?
I don't know.
Well, it's the trolley
because I'm speaking to 3 parents here. Like, so, because obviously I don't have a son or a daughter, but it's like, you're asking this is beyond Kobayashi Maru. This is beyond Deanna taking the test. We're talking about a parent asking to not only sacrifice Picard and Riker and Worf, but sacrifice her son. So, like, how do you ask someone to make that choice to save the galaxy, right?
I would like to tell you. Oh, go on, Jimmy.
No. I think a part of that had to do with her Starfleet training. Also, she is a medical doctor. I look, she understands death, at a level that a lot of people don't, and she understands what would happen to the galaxy if they tried to save her son. It's what you know versus what you hope, and is what you hope enough to counter what you know could happen.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that Starfleet training kicked in, and she was just like, "Nah, this is what we got to do."
Which is why one of the reasons that I wish I would say, I would like to be able to say that I could make that kind of choice. I just don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I
so
don't.
much of
No, you go. I thought you were done.
so much of Star Trek is about choosing to do better, right? And
Right.
making that choice. That's why the Borg is such a great villain for Trek, because
Absolutely.
with Star Trek's emphasis on collective action and community and creating bonds, we've talked about how the Borg is dialing that up to a toxic level, because but the key part of it, and this is one of the major themes in this episode, the key part of it is choice.
Yeah, the Borg did get kind of desperate. Like,
It's not even that. It's when you're assimilated, your choice is removed.
right.
Your agency is removed. And that was that's part of the point of having Jack have to make the choice to separate himself from the collective. Right. Because ultimately Star Trek celebrates independence and distinctiveness. Right. While also recommending community. And so striking that balance is at the heart of where Trek is. And part of that is making choices like this, making choices to do what is better for the community, and making choices that are difficult and personally costly. And so for that, in that moment, like that's such a great thematic moment in this.
Would you say, and this is a question for everybody, but I'm asking Marie, would you say that for Beverly, just like I believe that when Deanna had her moment, when she said, "I know where they are," I felt like that was her moment. Would you say that this moment where Beverly has to, it wasn't like she was making the choice in her head. She was just like, she fired those torpedoes. She did what she was supposed to do. Would you say that was Beverly's moment? You know what I'm saying?
If she can be said to have had a moment. Yes.
Okay. What other moments stuck out? And this is an everybody question. What other moments stuck out for everyone in terms of this last episode that you're glad that they finally addressed or spoke about or showed?
I don't know that it was a moment that rivals Deanna's moment or Beverly's moment, but it was Geordi helming the Enterprise and not Data. I recognize that Geordi is a Commodore, whatever, but you know what I'm saying. It was like you have Geordi commanding the Enterprise and not Data.
Right.
That was a decision. That was a choice. It was a choice that was made to have him not helm the Enterprise, but captain the Enterprise, and it was a peculiar moment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think on the one hand that had a lot to do with a recognition of Geordi's service and the fact that Geordi's responsible for them having the Enterprise. One.
Right. So he knows it well enough already as it is.
And two, I think that was made to feed into the moment for Data, where Data gets to ask everyone to trust him once again and to remind everybody, hey, I can do this. And that's also great because it gives Data a moment to have that emotional human experience of having to trust your gut.
I think that was Data's moment right there for sure.
I think so.
Like when Deanna said, "Am I sensing enjoyment?" And I'm going like, Data is feeling what every Trekkie is feeling right now, seeing that ship, because it's like back in TNG, they had to move slowly through the asteroid because that's just what your budget could afford. But now you can go all over, and I'm sitting here going like,
and that handwork. I mean, he was working it.
Right? I mean, that just it's like, Brett Spiner can play the piano.
And he did it in Generations, right. And I'm actually glad, little tech thing, I'm glad that they actually made these comm panels actual panels, because as now they don't do anything, but as he was touching each button, it lit up and it actually did something. He actually made stuff work. So he was actually touching a touchscreen Elcar's thing, and I was like, it wasn't doing anything, but it was like, oh man, he's going. I'm sitting there going like, bruh, Sulu would be so proud.
Okay, random question: did anybody else have a moment where in your head you were going, little life force?
yes.
Because I may or may not have. Right,
I'm sitting here going like, I mean, like, bro, that was, to me, that was definitely Data's moment. Like, that was Data's moment in Generations, but like when he was flying that ship, I'm sitting here going like, you know what, low key, you human, but you still have those synaptics, functioning and still going in there, so you can do this with emotion, but you can do this. But now that you already calculated this in your head, now you're gonna enjoy it. I'd enjoy it too. Like, can you imagine how cool that is? You just going through a Borg cube at high speed. Yeah, they were moving past full impulse, baby. They were going so fast. I was like, yo. And then Beverly's like, have at it. So she's firing every torpedo she got. I'm going. I still
have real questions about why a museum has active warheads. Like, what?
Look. I mean, because I expected like, okay, basic phasers, basic torpedoes, because it's a whole station, and you want to protect the relics. You want to protect the things that you.
I can see having a deactivated torpedo, right? Like, so that you can look at it, or even a mock-up. But like, dude's like, just casually mentions, I've got drones loading torpedoes into the torpedo bays, and I'm like, where the hell are you getting these?
Look, I
what were you planning for, Geordi?
I don't know. I don't know. Now, here's the thing.
Do you have a moment where you're going like you planned on taking this out for like shits and giggles and like shooting things? Like, what?
Yeah. So I can explain that away.
Please do.
So as ships are decommissioned, they come in with whatever it is that they have, right? And so torpedoes, it's part of the ship, right? So, all right, so and some of the ships are old. What are we gonna do with these, old torpedoes? Like, let's just put it here. We'll figure out what to do with it later. He knew that they were there. He made it happen.
Except that nobody leaves active ordnance lying around, except apparently Starfleet.
Yeah, that's been pretty well established already from
right. Like, I'm just gonna leave this here. There might be a person inside it, but it's fine.
They gotta remember, on the E they had quantum torpedoes. Well, so to have photon torpedoes, still that's old school. So yeah, they're not gonna have those sitting around for people to use. Why not store them at the museum? And like I said last week, you got to look out for Ferengi scavengers trying to steal stuff. The Drukmani, anyone else trying to steal from the museum.
The Packlets.
Right.
Yeah, you'll take
we
our
smart.
We take your ship pieces and add them to our ship pieces. Red alarm.
Red alarm, not even red alert, just red alarm.
I know. No.
Oh my god.
We're not even red flag, just like red alarm. Just, that's what we're gonna say in the 25th century, like red alarm for sure.
So is anybody else like really in need now of Worf to have like a recurring guest role?
He needs to be
on the Enterprise G. Does anybody else need that?
His role needs to be as consistent as Ensign Rose. Like, it needs to be. I'm the consistent. To me, it was consistent. Not kill him. Yeah, it's like you're not part of the main cast, but you're there enough that you have a presence.
Like you.
Like you.
need him. I just need him to show up and make more statements like, "And I will join making it a threesome."
Yo, I screamed. My roommates are looking at me as I'm hollering at the TV. I literally said I said it the same way Deanna said it in the last episode. I said, Worf, like, I said it as if I'm talking to the man. And I finished that episode. I almost quit my job again because I was just like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know what I need to do, but I need to be casted on Star Trek Legacy. Like, what the hell am I doing? Like, let's go.
He was definitely comic relief this entire episode.
He went to sleep. I've never seen him, other than Insurrection, I've never seen him sleep.
That was great. Like, and he's such a perfect straight man.
Yeah.
He's the perfect straight man. And he gives daddy vibes. I wonder where Alexander's at. That's who I want to talk to.
Keith.
Well, just the fact that we've been seeing him swing his sword around for all these episodes.
And it weighs half a ton.
Yes.
Riker said, "Oh, holy shit!" Like, I feel like that was more Jonathan Frakes than Riker, but like, I was holy shit! Like, I died. He's like, "You had a." Go ahead.
And then he's like, "You had." Then he's like, he pulls out the phaser in the hilt, and he's like, "You had this." And Worf's all like, "Swords are cool."
I mean, in case you didn't know, that day was Wednesday.
I mean, I'm just like, that is unassailable logic right there. Swords are cool.
But as good as the threesome line was, his best line was, "Oh, good. I was fearing that we might survive this."
I know.
But I did also like Claire Warrior does not use two words, regret and farewell, or
defeat
and farewell. So just very.
It's like they took the TNG bloopers and kept a portion because a part of me was like, you know what, if they would have somehow caught that line, because there was this line in TNG and it wasn't meant to be a line at all. It was the ship in a bottle scene when they were in the transporter room. And then Worf accidentally, and Picard was like, "Oh, haven't y'all ever played with toy ships when you were boy?" Of course they won't. Why would a Klingon? But like toy ships when you were boys, and Worf said, "I do not play with boy." And then he cut off, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And then
he
everyone just started laughing.
Toys, but he said boys.
By
accident.
Right. Yeah. So I felt like that threesome line was totally like you're getting like the spirit of this cast and the crew. Like they've been apart for 20 years, but now that they're back together, it's like they didn't miss a day. Like,
there's a great YouTube channel called Ryan's Edits, in which he takes scenes from all series of Star Trek and puts the bloopers right back into
I saw that on TikTok. I keep seeing it on TikTok a lot. It's so weird seeing that, like them running into the door or tripping and in a regular scene. And then, you were going to say something, Jermaine?
Keep going. I forgot.
William has that effect on people.
I'm sorry. It's just I'm after this, I'm watching it again. Like I'm watching it again, and I'm reevaluating my life. And I said, okay, clearly they didn't announce Legacy yet, which means they didn't start filming yet, which means I still have a chance to get the hell over there and say, look, bruh, come on, make me like the half brother of LaForge's daughter or something. Guys, my friend, his name is Hector. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee. He is a DJ, and I work with him on different raves. He's also a hardcore Trekkie. Hector, welcome, bud.
What's going on, everybody? What's up?
All right, what's going on?
Good to see you. Hopefully things are going all right in Nash Vegas.
Nash Vegas. I like that. I haven't heard that one.
So you literally just got done watching it. Like, come on, spill it out. What you got?
Oh man, can I say like it was like a jumble of emotions? I mean, is everybody on track with that? It was like I was everywhere with my emotions, especially towards the end where I was like, oh, it's definitely epic, and the fight, the cloaking scene and everything that was going on there. And then all of a sudden, just tears. I was like, "Oh man, this is it."
I had a powerful need to hug my kids.
Oh man,
I'm not gonna lie.
So Marie needed to hug her kids. I had the need to quit my job. Like I just wanted to quit my job. That's all I wanted to do. I don't even hate it like that. I was like, I need to be on Legacy. I just need to be on Legacy. Oh, like I want to be the best friend. Jack. I want to be Jack's best friend. That's what I want to do.
I wonder why.
Beautifully done.
So anyway,
Beautifully done,
look,
oh my god!
look,
I mean,
he ain't that bad looking, okay? Jermaine? He ain't that bad looking.
I mean, I have already said the man cries really prettily. All right, like I mean, he has that lovely sort of like tear thing. Like I mean, I turn like the color of Hector's background, right? Like I mean, but apparently not Ed Spilliers.
Considering I saw people giving short reviews of it on Facebook, and they were enjoying the fact that there was no crying. I'm like, what show were you watching?
Right? Like, where were you? No,
Right.
no, that's what frustrates me. Okay, all right, we're gonna have an FTP moment right here. So Ed Spilliers has cried in every episode from mid-season on. Nobody says a word.
Right.
Michael Burnham cries, and suddenly it's the worst thing ever. Can we have a moment to talk about why that might be?
So Hector, when we say things like FTP, it pretty much we have like other sub shows that hopefully we'll might get around to it. I'm crossing my fingers, but like it means fight the patriarchy, and that show is pretty much why I think Marie that's your baby. So why don't you like
So fight the patriarchy is a basically sort of a feminist / whatever critique of Star Trek, where we look at why what kind of representation we're seeing with different characters, people of color, women, yada yada. Because and it's not necessarily like different gender identities and sexual orientations, because that's LGBT Trek.
That's LGBT Trek. Yeah. So okay. But
we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get back to that. We have a month and a half. So we'll get back to that. Yeah, absolutely.
But I do really want to talk about that at some point, because that is just so frustrating.
Yeah.
Because again, it's perfectly acceptable for Jack Crusher to cry like a baby, but not Michael Burnham, who is also traumatized.
I knew that he cried since the mid-season finale, but it didn't hit me until Picard hugged him and I saw him cry.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started crying. I was like, okay, because I felt like, and maybe I should rethink my ways, but I wasn't taking his initial crying seriously. I felt like it was like, initially, I felt like it was the actor trying to establish his presence. I'm like, boy, you just got here. I don't know you. Like you got here quicker than that one half Bajoran, half human, half Cardassian president from Discovery that I know Jermaine still don't like. Like,
The devil.
like that bitch is the devil. Like it's Diablo. Like, seriously. Like,
She wasn't the devil.
she was. I don't care if
wasn't.
she was a
She
good guy
wasn't.
in the end.
No,
I don't care
you're
if she
wrong.
was Professor
You're
Smith in the end.
absolutely
That bitch was evil.
No, she was not. Not
wasn't
even
the devil.
close.
She
I love
wasn't the
you,
devil.
but no. But no.
She's a liar.
No, she's not.
She's a politician.
She's a politician.
There's a fine distinction.
Very fine line.
There's a fine distinction there. So yeah, like that was fantastic. Can we talk about 7 for a second?
Yeah, let's go.
Hector, what do you gotta
Like,
say? You know 7 of 9, right?
Yes.
What were some moments that you've noticed with 7 of 9 and basically her becoming captain and so on?
Notices and
Like what stood out to you personally?
And
Like
if it's
7
not the speech, we're just gonna mute you.
this speech was dope. It was pretty heavy. I was like, oh man, it's gonna go cheesy now. And then it was like, oh, okay. But the only thing I have to say about 7 of 9 was the cliffhanger on her thing. What's her thing? That's the thing that's just like
the engaged scene.
Yeah, I'm like, because she did use it. And I thought that was pretty cool when she said engage. And I was like, wait, if that isn't a passing of baton, like I don't know what is.
Well, I feel like because it's like as I saw her lips go right before the camera clip, I saw like her tongue hit the. I saw what is it? Picard said engage, but I felt like she wanted to say engage because I saw her tongue hit the top of the root of her lip, the root of her mouth, and it's like like, and it made me feel like engage, but I don't know what she said. I hope they filmed it and they show us in Legacy. I hope that, because it's like, but what else is there left to say besides let's fly, engage, punch it,
hit that baby.
Well, I know what she didn't say. I know she didn't say. I know what she didn't say. I want the ship to go now.
Hey, I think Lorca said go. Like, who the hell says just go? Do you see a green light in space anywhere? Like,
Only
go.
I mean, yes, actually,
go and make it sound cool is 50 cents. So
Lord
that's about it. Like, I don't know, but the fact that she said it earlier in the episode, I thought it was cool. She was like engage, and I was just like, wait,
that was much earlier. Yeah,
I was like, wait, what just happened here? Something happened. There was a little Easter egg, at least for me. I thought it was, and yeah, and the fact that she's much like Burnham, where it's and where she's more like on instinct and she kind of breaks the rules. But it also all leads back to Picard. Picard was the first rule bender, you know?
Yeah, rule bender. Yeah.
I mean, I'd argue that was Kirk, really. But...
Oh no, Kirk was a rule breaker. He was a rule breaker.
Every last one of them.
You know, Picard is all about his prime directive, and you know, it's
so he's not.
He's just like, wait. It's
until Wesley screws up and is about to be executed.
I mean, the man chooses a speech from Brutus in Julius Caesar as his final toast. Brutus is the one who stabs Caesar and overthrows the current government.
Leave it to Marie to know where these lines come from.
Yeah.
May or may not have been reciting it along with him. May or
I was gonna say, what is this Shakespearean stuff he done brought back over here? I'm even going like, of course, she wouldn't be Picard without being
exactly
dramatic.
Exactly. But I mean, but I think there's something to that, right? Like, I mean, in addition to the actual speech, which is obviously about continuing on, but there are other great poems that you could have pulled from. Like, for example, Tennyson's Ulysses, right, would have been great. That untrammeled arch, and the continually moving forward. But no, we got to go with Brutus. I gotta go with Brutus.
Who the hell Brutus was? I just thought, is this some more Shakespeare?
It was in his contract.
I mean, I feel like they're still making up for making him have that entire episode with an oil slick. So.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, we got like 4 minutes left. I know. I mean,
let's be real. We're not gonna.
I know we're not. Like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. Does anyone else have a favorite scene? I already said mine, but does anyone else have a favorite scene that you're just like, oh my god,
oof.
This is the final episode. Everyone has a favorite scene now. Come on.
Honestly, I think the most memorable will actually be the last scene when they're in 10 forward. No.
Okay. Poker.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they're in 10 forward, that one was kind of very reminiscent of TNG, and it brought back all of those memories. And it's the realization that, hey, I might not see any of these guys together ever again.
This is it.
Yeah.
Do not make me cry, Jermaine.
Yeah.
I mean,
my makeup will run and it will be awful.
We'll see them. I feel like we'll see them in part. Maybe one of them in Section 31, maybe a couple of them, a handful of them in Legacy, maybe in future Prime Trek movies or shows.
But all together
at the same time, alive. It's I have to emphasize the alive part because this was a blessing. It's y'all are here, they're playing poker, and they're actually playing poker. They're actually doing it, and I'm just like, yo, because it's to Marie's point, you would normally end it with the trumpet sounds of the TNG music or Star Trek music in general as the ship is going away, and all we see is stars. No, it's this. I don't know if you I know this is not a TNG show, but this was a TNG episode. This was definitely
the whole season. Come on now.
Yeah. For sure.
With TNG, yes.
Yeah, for sure. So it was definitely season. If you want season 9, the next generation, or maybe the last generation now, but yeah. So it's in. I also very much appreciate how Shaw sent that message and turned it around, because you can. I said this to someone a while ago. There's no excuse for phobias or any type of racism or discrimination or prejudice, but when you take the time to ask the question and try to fix the problem at the core, you find out where a lot of, if you weren't taught from birth, that is, you find out where a lot of that prejudice came from, and his came from PTSD, which was seemingly dismissed by Starfleet. It's just like, okay, let's put a band-aid on it and put you back in back in Starfleet, like ain't nothing happened to you. Like,
also, can we talk about how Todd Stashwick himself has now embraced the Star Trek fandom because we have embraced him,
right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like he showed up everywhere. He's got like a coffee mug with Liam Shaw on it.
Oh, he's got to milk this. He has got to milk this. He's got to milk this somehow. But this may be a rumor, and I posed this question to Keith. Is there any chance that we're gonna see any part of Shaw in any future Trek? Because someone told me we will, but I don't know how. Like,
according to Terry Matalas, he was asked this week. He said, if Legacy becomes a thing, we will find a way to make Todd Stashwick a regular part of it.
Yo, what do you mean if Legacy is going to be a thing?
I need to get my life together so I can get casted on Star Trek Legacy. That's all I want.
I'm gonna need you to calm down.
No,
I'm following you.
No, of all the announcements made this week, the one announcement we did not get, which would have been perfect considering tonight the ending of Picard, would have been an announcement of Legacy, and they have not made that announcement yet. So
how can they
let's give them 2 days. Let's give them 2 days.
We are losing two aspects of their tentpole franchise.
Right.
They've canceled Discovery, and Picard just ended. We're not adding anything. We're adding a Section 31 movie. But
we have
we're not
a Section 31
like
movie, and
series.
I thought we were confirmed for Starfleet Academy.
Yes.
Right. So we need one more. Legacy, people. Legacy. Terry Matalas, I'm talking to you.
And I think the only reason why Section 31 is a movie is because that's all the time that Michelle Yeoh has.
Like, and I'm grateful for her.
They waited way too long to finally move forward with it, and now it's just going to be a movie. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a series of movies, though, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well,
it's like TV films, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This is our first. The
way they shoot Star Trek now, every episode is almost like a movie. You know what I'm saying?
True. It's true. I was told that Generations was basically an elongated TNG episode, so maybe that's what Section 31 will be.
I wouldn't say Generations, but the motion picture definitely was.
Okay, that makes sense.
In fact, I think it actually started as an episode script that didn't get used.
It was the pilot for Phase 2.
Right.
The original plan for Section.
Okay.
Which is one of the reasons we have to have that, like pornographic money shot, like going around the Enterprise.
What the hell are you talking about?
You cannot tell me you don't know what I'm talking about.
But so many times.
You know what?
I zoned out for like 10 seconds and then I came back. Like,
you know what? There's a reason why they rebuilt that Enterprise. You're not going to spend that kind of money to rebuild the Enterprise D, right? So I would imagine that we're going to see the Enterprise D again in some way. Don't know how.
That was not a repurposed set. That was a new set.
Well, one great thing they did was I saw a picture today of James Cawley, the man who runs the original series set tour in Ticonderoga, New York, sitting in the captain's chair. He bought the plans, and he's currently building his own TNG set to be added on to the original series set experience in Ticonderoga. And they invited him to come out and view their now rebuilt set. So he was able to see how they did it and hopefully guide him as he's building the new set in Ticonderoga. So,
I'm such a jealous fangirl right now.
Yeah.
Such a jealous fangirl. Because, I mean, all of us at some point or another have thought about what it would be like to sit in that center chair.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And there now is the VR experience that they launched today where you can put it up big screen and move about the bridge as if you're walking around it. It's not sitting in the chair, but I mean, it's at least
all right. Keith, you've been sitting on the news. Tell us all the news.
Okay. Well, I just one more thing I want to note about this before I go to the news list. Remember, if they hadn't canceled Discovery, we would be trying to do double duty tonight of talking about the finale of Picard and the season premiere of Discovery. That was supposed to be today, having both of those episodes, because this was supposed to start up 10 weeks of Discovery tonight. So it's probably a good thing that they pushed Discovery back so we had Picard on its own to digest and revel in. So.
Yeah,
That's the one good thing about them watching Discovery.
I wanted to throw in one last Easter egg before we head to the news. I don't think anyone noticed this, but I'm gonna make this a meme or whatever I got to do and just post it on Trekker's Delight. So I watched that Enterprise G scene twice. Now we all know that the Enterprise F was borrowed, and we see it, because a fan made it, and everyone's happy. It technically happened again with the Enterprise G. Technically. And here's how I know. Oh, here's my food. Thank you.
Dang, that's better than Grubhub.
I know, right? I'm making bad life choices. I don't have a lackey.
Okay, so
I need a lackey.
I can't pull it up right now, but I'm just gonna describe it to y'all. If you actually look at the scene where you see the Enterprise G on the ship, if you look at the bottom right corner, technically you see the Excalibur class ship, which is what their original Enterprise G was supposed to look like, which was also made by a fan. Because I looked it up. I said, what does the Enterprise G look like? Now, it was a concept and it was made by a fan. But I looked at it and I looked at the bottom right. It's so hidden. It's so hidden. But if you look close, it's right there, right under the Titan, like on the bottom right corner. So I implore you, y'all watch that scene again. There it is right there. You'll be like, oh, cool.
Right. So news, Keith?
Yeah, there were quite a few Star Trek Online ships that made it into this episode. Okay. First off, the big news announcement of the week, Section 31, the movie. Only cast announced so far is Michelle Yeoh, directed by Olatunde Osunsami, who did several episodes of Discovery, and it's written by Craig Sweeney, who also did some episodes of Discovery, most notably Context is for Kings from season 1. Originally, of course, this was planned to be a full series, but Michelle Yeoh's schedule is continually getting busier and busier now that she is the best actress in the world, as we well know. But she said that she wanted to come back to her Star Trek family because she loved the character of Emperor Georgiou, and now she's going to get a chance. And this will be, as according to Star Trek overlord Alex Kurtzman, the first of many special movie events as part of the Phase 2 of Star Trek streaming.
Now they're treating this like Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those credits, yeah.
I mean, baby,
exactly.
Hey,
even better.
But we are to expect a new special movie every 2 years, and it may not. Section 31 is the first one. It could be other things. It could be Tales of the Federation. It could be Archer. It could be anything. Oh, I did want to note one thing. In last week's episode, one of the ships that fired on the Excelsior to destroy it was the Hikaru Sulu.
Right.
I did not notice that.
I saw it too. Yeah.
I caught the Pulaski though. Will.
I'm not saying nothing. I didn't say a thing. I didn't say. Look, I'm surprised they didn't even. Well,
so moving on in the news list.
I'm sorry. I
can't feel William right now. So.
You're not mean, Marie. You just have her bite. You have her bark. Just like all that. Anyway, I'm gonna. But yeah. Damn.
All right, Keith.
Okay. So the other thing that was announced this week for Paramount Plus is they have picked up the option on Galaxy Quest. Originally, it was going to be a TV show on Amazon back in 2015, but you okay, William?
No, he's dying over the corner. Keep talking about Galaxy Quest.
Jermaine knows why. You know what? Go ahead.
We all need more Grignac in our lives.
Yes, by Grabthar's Hammer. Yes, Galaxy Quest was going to be a series on Amazon, but it all fell apart in 2016 when, and I'm blanking on his name.
Some actor.
Alan Rickman passed away from pancreatic cancer. They had a script. Tim Allen had pitched the idea for the story. They were ready to go, but now that fell apart. But they said that this was always in the chain at some point. The only person currently attached is original film producer Mark Johnson. So right now we don't know if it's a reboot or a sequel, but Galaxy Quest, of course, made in the image of Star Trek, is now coming to Paramount Plus along with all things Star Trek. Speaking of all things Star Trek, Strange New Worlds Season 1 will now be appearing on Pluto TV for free. And we got some more from season 2, which will be coming up in 8 weeks on June 15th. We got a teaser trailer today showing some of the fun coming through. And of course, we also got a poster, psychedelic color poster came out today.
Did you say a psychedelic poster?
Yes.
Okay.
In other slightly Trek-related things on streaming, Babylon 5 is now for free on the Roku channel. I've started streaming it now. In other news, tomorrow, Master Replicas will continue their releasing of Eagle Moss diecast starships, including 2 previously unreleased starships, the Parliament-class USS Vancouver, as seen in Lower Decks, and the XL version of the Constellation-class USS Stargazer. Those will be available starting tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Also available, the Discovery Refit 1031A, Miranda-class USS Antares, XL Enterprise from TOS, XL Enterprise from Discovery, the USS Gagarin from Star Trek Online, and in the past 2 episodes of Picard. Shuttle Set 3, consisting of a travel pod, a Work B, a Type 11 shuttle, and the Argo from the Star Trek movie we don't talk about. And the diecast model of Space Dock from Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Additionally, there will also be dedication plaques for the Discovery and the Shenzhou, Mego figures of Pike from Discovery and Spock from the motion picture, and then from Outside Trek, 4 alien ships, including the Nostromo in XL size, 2 Battlestar Galactica ships, and a book, and the complete Batman chess set. Because they're just buying all the IP.
Batman chess set.
I should have took out my notebook for this.
I know.
And then finally,
you'll just have to watch it.
Finally, Titmouse, the animation studio that makes Lower Decks, is having a sale starting today, April 20th, of some of their animation work, including Beavis and Butthead, but also their Lower Decks gear in honor of the end of Picard. So their T-shirts and other merch is marked down $5 through midnight on Saturday. That's at www.titmousestuff.com.
How do you keep up with all this?
That Picard must have been raking in a lot of streams.
Yes.
Because this day has been full of announcements as it relates to Star Trek. This season must have been really, really good for everyone.
Last week's episode was one of the highest rated streaming shows in the world.
Did you say in the world?
In the world.
Yo, we have arrived. We are no
We're
longer
here.
We are no longer the red-headed star franchise.
And we ain't going nowhere. I literally said to my roommate last week, I said, I know next week's episode is coming, but I promise you, I am never going to feel this amount of excitement ever again, the way I did when I saw that ship.
Well, and the number of people I saw online, sure, it was a lot of fan service and nostalgia, but it was a horribly written episode. So hence my tagline, written critiques are seldom correct. Writing critiques are seldom correct.
I thought it was like a subliminal dig towards Marie, so I wasn't going to go there. So I'm glad you cleared it up.
I have to admit, I did too, actually.
I didn't know where we were going, so I wasn't going to ask. Now, I'll go after Michael.
In the back of my mind going, what did I do to piss Keith off this time?
I'll go after Michael, but I'm not. I didn't see Keith. I'm like, baby, I'll eat my mashed potatoes just fine.
This was all the people that I see, and I see some of the same people like referring to other shows that things are horribly written. When I, first of all, no, and what do you expect it to be? Shakespeare. We actually got Shakespeare in this episode. So
we actually did. Yeah. Finally, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see having legitimate criticisms. Like, for example, Laris is just always going to bother.
Yeah, where's Laris at? Like, I expected, like Marie said earlier in today's show, like, why aren't you in the shuttle with Picard a year later?
Or even if you couldn't get Orla Brady back, a mention?
A mention, like maybe they're married, maybe something. I don't know, like anything.
Like a mention of Troi Riker would be nice too.
Also,
forgot about her.
While we're talking about relationships, I've been meaning to ask this: what's going on with Seven and Raffi?
We don't know.
Not a mention, not a hug. It was that they had one moment and it was awkward, and that was it.
They're on the same ship, baby.
Yeah.
They're in the same command structure, so that's going to be a party.
Who knows if they're sharing quarters? Could be. We don't know.
Hector, what do you think?
I was right there with you. I was like, yo, why does this? Every time I see them, it looks like they're just like looking at each other, just like really. Oh snap! That was see, that was my thoughts.
Perfect
right
timing on the music.
Thank you, Siri. No, but yeah, it's always it to me. I don't know. To me, they're hitting at something, and I'm just like, is this a thing? Is this? What are you guys gonna do?
I mean, I got to tell you, I would not want to work with my ex.
I mean, because I'm sorry
Maybe
to
find
bring
an
up
airlock?
season 2, but it's like we got more for them and their development in season 2 than the smidgen that we got. And maybe they were trying to make it a bit more about Jack and his relationship with Picard and, marriage issues with Riker and Troi, like, I don't know. But it's like, you would have at least said something like, because I know that Raffi said in the beginning, I broke up with my girlfriend, but you were undercover. So I knew that was a lie. Like, so what's going on? Like,
so maybe this is like a course correct. Maybe they did a little too much with Discovery, and the fans are like, back away from it, and so they don't really know how to handle it.
One moment.
My phone is on some other stuff. I don't know what's going on here.
I mean, whatever demon is possessing your cellular device is hilarious.
It's called Twitter.
I mean, if there is going to be a demon, I can see it being affiliated with Elon Musk. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what he meant.
The fact that Jermaine knows what I'm talking about.
Oh Lord.
I am gonna let that slide.
Oh, it's slide.
I was gonna let that slide. I was gonna try to keep it clean. Look, I'm being the adult.
Clean? Me? Impossibly.
I am the adult.
Impossibly. No. I can't. And but me, clean. Absolutely not there.
But all right, do we feel like we've covered The Last Generation?
Yeah.
The Last Generation.
One last thing. Did anybody? I don't know. Maybe, probably just me. But did that last scene where they were at the bar? Didn't it look like the last episode of Cheers?
That is a direction
the
we did not go.
That is interesting because a lot of didn't we get a lot of Voyager and TNG actors and actresses in Cheers anyway?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
and
but
I swear that now for if I ever rewatch this again, which we know I will, that's gonna play in my head now.
Yeah, Jonathan
Thanks,
Price,
Hector.
Kate Mulgrew, the dude from
I couldn't help it. I was just like, why does this look like the final episode of Cheers? Like the background, like everything. I was just like,
we got BB Newworth in TNG though.
We did.
And Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, Kelsey too. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Who played Savick again? She was in Cheers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
She was in there.
Robin
yeah.
Curtis.
Yeah.
Well, but Kirstie Alley.
And Kirstie Alley. So there were two.
There were two.
Which
Okay.
Savick?
Oh, right, exactly. The first one.
Okay, Kirstie Alley.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, I never really got a chance to. I saw I've seen scenes and opening credits of Cheers, but I haven't really got the first episode or the last episode. But I can I'm sorry. Look, I'm but I'll
It's a good show.
I believe it. I
It's
watched
on
it as a
Hulu.
kid, but I
Watch it.
didn't know what I was watching. Like I was like,
I was right there with you, but I can remember a little bit.
right.
They had an episode in the first season, which came out in 1980, about Sam dealing with one of his former teammates coming out as gay.
They had a gay episode?
In 1980.
That was the first episode?
No, it was in the first season.
First season. Oh, okay.
In which then everybody in the bar is worried about what happens if those people start showing up. And
Oh, Lord.
And it ended up being a really funny episode in the way they mocked.
Well, I mean, back then, LGBT characters were casted as like comedy.
No,
either
Cheers.
very funny
Cheers
or
turned that on
villain.
its head.
No,
That's what he's
not-
saying. Is
That's not what they did at all.
yeah, no, they literally mocked bigots.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, which is
Fantastically
cute.
well done.
I am
Yeah.
curious. So Cheers is not one big holodeck simulation, is what we're saying? Like it's an actual show?
Well, yeah.
It was pretty
No, someone made a joke that like if you take all of the Star Trek actors and you see them in Total Recall or Cheers, it's like, oh, it's another holodeck simulation. Got it.
Fair enough. All right, guys, we are wrapping it up. We are obviously not going to have new material for about 6 weeks. So we'd love it if you guys would like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what you'd like to see, what you'd like us to cover. Because I think there's a lot of really good stuff that we could do.
And thank you to the 5 consistent people that have been watching 100% of the time. Like, hello, like 4 of them are from the YouTube channel and 1 of them is from the Twitch page. And earlier, 1 was from my page and the other 1 was from the Will West page. So, this is like dope. Hello, 5 people. I just got one thing to say before we wrap it up. 1 second.
Yes, Mr. Warford.
It's been a long road.
Bean footage, guys. Bean footage now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not gonna ever say it on the internet. Yeah, never. Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. Wait. There was a shadow of a church.
Okay. What?
William has questionable
I didn't
ideas
catch
about
that
what he
one.
puts. William has questionable ideas about what he puts on the internet.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Uh-huh.
I remember that episode. Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait.